I found out my boyfriend cheated on me right before our anniversary. I was devastated and cried for a week or two, but while I was devastated, I began chatting it up with a Jamaican I met online. Tall, handsome, thick accent. I snuck out and went to the movies a couple weeks ago with him, which made my boyfriend suspicious and paranoid. I actually really like him, and we have great conversation. We spent all day talking to one another. Last week, we went to the bar and got some drinks. I live in a beach town, so we left the bar and started walking on the beach. I was wearing a dress with no panties, hoping that tonight would be the night I could feel his fingers or dick down there. Things get steamy, and we start kissing. The sound of the waves were actually easing my anxiety. I had retired from my cheating phase years ago, and this rush of adrenaline felt new all over again. Next thing you know, his fingers trace my and he felt how wet I was. It has been weeks since I've had my clit played with, so I had a strong orgasm after he rubbed me for a couple minutes. I was promptly bent over and from behind. He immediately let out a moan as a thin layer of cum covered his chocolate, veiny dick. His dick was way bigger than my boyfriend's. He filled every inch of me, and after 3 to 5 minutes of relentless pumping, hair pulling, and ass slapping, I felt the surge of a warm goo enter me. I stood up and felt cum leak onto my inner thighs and legs. I walked with the wet goo in between my legs as we went back to the bar for another drink. I cleaned myself up in the bathroom and finished my drink. We headed to my car, where he pressed against me as I was approaching the driver's side door. He turned me around so I can face him, and all I could smell was rum. He opened the backseat door and sat me on the edge. He spread my legs open as he squatted in front of me. He buried his face in my and I covered my mouth to avoid. He swirled his tongue around my pearl and began sucking it, and I immediately began squirting and shaking. Jamaican man laughed at me and kissed my pussy one last time. I stood up again and repositioned my dress. So, until next time, I awkwardly suggested. He looked at me and nodded his head. We can do it again next week, he answered with a smirk. I got a parting hug and an grab to go with it, and I was back in my car on the way to my boyfriend's house, filled with vodka plus soda and
So recently I found out that my ex had a flirtatious relationship at work with one of her managers at a restaurant she works at. This involved sexual dirty talking while on the shift, sexual compliments, and photo sharing and plans to hang out. I found out and told her not to text the other guy again and block him. Well, something told me to check her phone again, and it didn't take less a full day for her to respond back to his texts on iMessage, thus continuing the contact of cheating on me. What's worst is how she described getting caught by me to be hilarious, funny, and that she'll reach out to this guy when we're done. She made me sound like a doormat, a joke, an option, as if everything we had was a plaything for her to play with. Feeling emasculated, embarrassed, and surprised she could ever talk about me like this to another man, I posted her incriminating screenshots to her social media feeds, Instagram and Snapchat stories since I had access to the accounts, and sent those screenshots to the guy she was cheating on me with and her boss at work since she was doing it with another manager at the restaurant. I also sent them to her mother as she was texting this guy the whole week. I was helping her mother move to her new home. The guy responded immediately, and her boss and mother has yet to respond. She later called me back to apologize about the ordeal, but the damage was already done, and I broke the news to her about what I did and to screw her. I think I went overboard, as this is something I never done. Take revenge on someone by screwing them over. Update. I've seen that her boss has looked at the message I sent her of my ex cheating at work on the job with another restaurant manager. The boss hasn't replied yet, but she definitely knows now. Time will tell if she'll continue to be working there. Update 2. Apparently she still has her job from the restaurant, and she's doing damage control from the social media posts. Update 3. She replied back to me, letting me know the developments I about posted learning before, and that only a person like me would care to see that happen. The conversation turned in a really ugly name-calling match. The damage has already been done. I'm being spiteful, and I'm done talking with her. I'm going to desperately seek therapy and work on myself for the better. I didn't expect this to blow up, but I appreciate the advice all around. She never wanted me or deserved it all. Update 4. I contacted the owner and showed him pictures of what happened. He legally said he can't get involved for situations that happened outside the restaurant. The screenshots clearly show her and the manager sexually flirting during the workday on the hour. I don't think he really wants to get involved. We live in an at-will employment state, meaning the employer can fire you for a reason other than an illegal one. So as uncomfortable as it is for her, the owner, GM, the manager she cheated with, unfortunately. She'll keep her job, but boy, it'll be uncomfortable working there. Final update. The guy she managed to cheat on me with is a single father co-parenting a son with another woman. I found out who the woman was and showed her all the screenshots. Unfortunately, she saw them texting each other for well over a year ago, and that she told him to not text her anymore because she doesn't want him hanging out with anyone that doesn't like the mother of their son. My ex-girlfriend knew her and was extremely rude and snobbish with her. They're not together anymore, so she didn't know the exact lengths of their relationship. However, she knew that texted each other a lot. To no surprise, their relationship also ended because he was also cheating on her at the same restaurant with another woman that worked there while their son was extremely young. For all the talk about how my ex-GF didn't want to be a single mother and how she despised her father for cheating on her mother while she was pregnant, she sure loved playing the role as the other woman.